All right, so let's talk about the subject of getting ahead of pain in your life. And I don't just mean pain in your physical body, but pain maybe in your finances, in your health, could be pain in your family, pain in whatever areas of your life. Let's talk about how to get ahead of it, because I'm going to talk about a story here. When my second daughter, Kira, was born, I tell the story in my book, 7 Days with Jesus, about how my wife had an epidural put in, and even though the epidural was in, she was still feeling some pain and quite a bit of pressure. And with that in mind, we were getting ready to have our third daughter, Raina, and she's asking the doctor, hey, when we had the epidural last time, it didn't seem to work that well. I was still having pain. I was still having quite a bit of pressure. And he said, well, that's because we didn't get far enough ahead of it. We got it in too late, and then we didn't have enough room to get ahead of it. He said, if we get further ahead of it, there won't be all that pain and all that pressure. And so sure enough, they got the epidural in plenty of time. And, it was an interesting thing to watch, because she's in labor, and having gone through the first two births of our first two daughters, I'm used to looking at the monitors and knowing when she's having contractions and things like that. And I'm watching the monitor spike up and down, and she's just sitting there watching TV, acting like nothing's going on, and she's not having any pain. She goes, this is really kind of boring this time. And she's just sitting there kind of hanging out, eating food and watching TV, not thinking too much of it. And I'm watching the contractions as they're going on in the background there on the monitor. Big difference in the experience of the two births there, as far as both had an epidural, but one of them got it in time, one of them was a little bit late, and big difference in the outcomes of feeling pain in her life. And so there's a proverb that says, a prudent man sees what's coming and takes action and does something about it. And so in every area of your life, you can look out and you see what's coming. So for example, you can look out in your finances and you can see, hey, I've got a big expense coming. Maybe it's retirement, maybe it's kids going to college, maybe it's kids getting married. I've got 3 daughters. Maybe it's 3 kids getting married at some point. Maybe it's you need to put a new roof on your house. You're going to need to buy a new car at some point. Or you want to buy a house someday. You look out and you see what's coming. Well, then we got to take action. We got to get far enough ahead of it, because if I wait, and I wait and I get it in too late, just like with the epidural, I wait to get started too late. Now all this pressure and pain comes. You get in a financial crunch. All of a sudden you don't have enough money to retire, or you don't have enough money for whatever it is that you need for college or whatever, because I didn't get far enough ahead of it. And so I've got to see what's coming. I've got to be able to look out and to see what's coming, and I've got to begin to take action. There's this term in the science world that they call entropy, which is that everything in this world wants to go the wrong way. Everything wants to go into more of chaos. Things don't just naturally fall into order. The natural tendency of things is to go towards chaos and disorder. And so when you look out, your body, for example, your body wants to get weaker. Your body wants to tighten up and get stiffer and lose flexibility and pliability. And so when you look out ahead of like, hey, as I'm going to get older, I better start exercising now. I better start eating right. I better start, stretching and staying flexible and pliable and mobile. I better start doing those things now, because eventually it's going to be too late, and I might get into pain in my physical body because I can't move as well, or whatever it may be. You could look out, in your relationships. We all know that when we want to have good relationships, we have to have good connection. We have to feel connected to the people that we're having relationships with. Well, I look out, I know that the natural tendency of things is to go the wrong direction. For us to lose connection is the natural tendencies of things. So I need to start looking out with my kids, with my spouse, maybe my employees or coworkers or whatever it may be. I need to be looking out. All right, what do I need to do to start creating more connection on a daily basis? Now, the good news is, with all of this stuff, so every area of your life, we need to be looking out. You can look in your purpose. We'll talk about how to do this in a second, but you look in your purpose. Let's say God gives you a glimpse of where He wants to take you in your life, and you look at this big picture purpose, anything that's He's called you to do. You can check out some of my other videos on purpose. It's going to be big. It's going to require more of you. It's going to require you to grow as a person in your emotional capacity, in your skills and your talents and your gifting, and you're going to look out and you're going to see, wait a minute, there's a skill set if I'm going to fulfill this purpose, there's going to be a skill set that I'm going to have to start cultivating. I'm going to have to start getting ready, because for me to step into what he's called me to do, I'm going to have that skill set ready to go. And so we look at that. We say, all right, what are the 1 to 3 skills that I need to start developing now? You can look at it in business, okay? Business, you have to be continually innovating. So let's say you are the guy with the horse-drawn carriage business, and all of a sudden Henry Ford comes along and he starts making cars. Okay, you look out and you see where the world is going. It's not coming yet, but you look out and you see where the world is going. It's moving towards automobiles. It's moving towards cars. I got to start changing my business model here. I've got to start looking ahead and start making some changes, making some adjustments. I can give Henry Ford a hard time and say, oh, it's never going to happen, all that kind of stuff. But I look out and I see what's coming. In today's age, we look out and you see technology. How is technology going to change your business? What's it going to do? Now, you might say, well, I don't own a business. Well, you might be working in a business that needs to adapt and change with technology. Maybe you could be the one who leads that action and that initiative to change and to grow the business into looking ahead to where it's going. Wayne Gretzky, the great hockey great, used to say one of the greatest secrets to his success was he always skated to where the puck was going. He didn't skate to where the puck was, he skated to where it was going. And we have to have this ability to look out ahead and to skate towards where things are going, because if I don't get ahead of it, okay, then I will have pain in my life. I'm going to come under financial pressure. I'm going to come under whatever pressure. My business might start to feel the impact of it. My health might start to feel the impact of it. My family and connection with my family might start to feel the impact of it if I don't start to take action now. And I got to get ahead of it. Now, one of the greatest principles I've ever learned is, on one side you have entropy. You have the world wants to go towards chaos. But there's another principle that God has given you, which I call easy strength. Okay, we talk about it in both books, 7 Days with Jesus, Cracking Heaven's Code. This principle of easy strength, which is easy strength. I learned it in the gym. Fastest way to get strong, also creates more order in your life. Fastest way to get strong is to show up every single day and practice and work on the things that you need to be working on. It doesn't have to be hard, it doesn't have to be miserable, but you show up every day and you work out in such a way that it's like practice, and you're practicing where you're trying to go. You're practicing what you're trying to step into. So you in your relationships, you start practicing. Hey, let's have dinner together. Maybe you're not doing it all. Some of the research shows that having just meals together at the table, okay, is one of the greatest predictors of kids' success in school and grades and SATs, in stress levels in their kids, in the ability to handle bullying and be resilient, and all these factors that you would want in your children. The number one factor they're finding is, does your family have dinner together at the table regularly? So, hey, let's start to do it. Maybe we're not doing it all. Let's start to do it once a week, okay? Maybe it's you start to connect with your spouse once a week. Maybe you go on a date, whatever it is. Maybe you connect with your staff or your clients or whoever it is. Maybe you look out and you start, all right, we need to develop this skill set in our business, or we're going to need to start moving our business in this direction over time. We don't have to get it all figured out today, but we got to start. We got to get moving down the path here and moving to where that puck is going. Okay, I got to start moving down that path. Maybe it's in my finances. Maybe I know I need to start setting aside a little bit of money here and there, because I see these expenses that are coming. They're coming down the road. One of the greatest things that helped me both personally in finances, but also in business finances, is just doing cash flow forecasting. Okay, looking ahead and saying, this is where we are today. This is what's coming down the line. This is our projected income and our projected expenses. Okay, you can do this personally. You can do it in your business, and share that with everybody and collaborate on it and say, all right, what actions do we need to take? This is what's coming. A lot of people share their financials, but they do it after the fact. If the month is already over and all right, here's how we did in the month. Why not do it future looking? Okay, I know the Bible says you can't predict what a day is going to bring, but it also says we need to be looking out ahead and taking action, appropriate action. If I look ahead and I see there's trouble lying up ahead in my financial forecast, I have time to take action. If I'm looking far enough out ahead, I can take action. I can do some things differently. Maybe I can go find more clients. I can make some adjustments. I can cut expenses. Whatever I need to do. If I look out, I can see what's coming. But we have this principle called easy strength, which is the basic principle is when you just show up every day and you execute it consistently. So I'm looking at my cash flow forecasting on a regular basis, because cash flow is king in a business or even in your personal finances. I'm looking out and I'm seeing what's coming, and I'm taking action on a consistent basis, and I'm doing those things. Eventually what happens is I start to create compound interest, and my rate of growth on this side starts to grow faster than my rate of decay or entropy on the other side, and now I start to tip the balance and I start to get ahead. And kind of like my wife, in the birth example, we get ahead of it, and now we don't experience the pain. We have the baby, but there's no pain when you have the baby. Okay? That's a completely different experience than most people have. We have the baby, but there's no pain in the process of having the baby. Yes, it's inconvenient and those types of things. We still had to go through the process, but it was a much less painful process. Now, another interesting part of this idea, we talk about pain, especially from a biblical perspective. You got all kinds of examples of Noah. He started building the ark 100 years before the floods ever came. He got ahead of it. He knew it was going to take him a long time. He started to get ahead of it. He started 100 years before the floods ever came. But we see in the Bible, the prayer of Jabez. I think it's in 1 Chronicles 4, I believe it is. Little short passage, this prayer of Jabez. If you haven't seen it yet, I would highly recommend you read the book, The Prayer of Jabez by Bruce Wilkinson. He's got some videos on YouTube on the prayer of Jabez. Really good, life-changing prayer. And the prayer is very simple. Oh God, would you bless me, and would you expand my borders, and keep your hand on me, and keep me from evil. And the last part, so that I won't cause pain, so that I won't have pain or cause pain for others. Now, one of the things we need to realize is that we are all connected. Okay, when we're talking about pain, we need to realize that we are all connected. If I have pain in my physical body, now our bodies are a physical representation, let's say, of the church. It talks about, in the body there are many members, but they're all connected. The little parts that we often think are less important, if one part is suffering, the whole body is suffering. And so we need to realize that whenever I look ahead and I don't take action, okay, the result is going to be pain, probably, in my life, okay? But there's a much more far-reaching aspect of that, and that when I don't take that appropriate action, and there's pain in one part of my body, my whole body suffers. Okay, if I have pain in my elbow and that elbow's hurting, it's gonna affect other areas of my body. It's gonna affect my mindset. It's gonna affect my emotions. When you have pain in your body, it's gonna affect other areas. Other areas of the body are gonna have to now compensate and to do more for that area of the body. So let's say I get in the financial crunch. And let's say in a business example, you get in a financial crunch. You didn't forecast, you didn't make adjustments, you didn't innovate in your business to see what was coming. You stuck with your horse-drawn carriages even though the automobiles were coming out. You didn't adapt to the internet, whatever it is. The world is constantly changing. And I looked ahead and I saw what was coming, and I didn't change. I didn't grow, I didn't adapt. Okay, that's another part of this as well, is I have to be willing to change. I have to be willing to grow. I have to be willing to adapt. I have to have adaptability in my life and in my mindset and in my emotions, which is a fruit of having high faith. Faith that I can figure it out. Faith that I have a positive mindset. I see what's coming, but I can adapt. I can change. I can make adjustments so that we can avoid the pain on the other end of that thing. Okay? So I look at it, I see what's coming. I'm willing to adapt. I'm willing to change. I apply my easy strength, and I start practicing. I start making adjustments. I start taking action on a consistent basis. A little bit of money, let's say over time accumulates over time. I start to gain compound interest. I start to outweigh the effects of the decay and entropy on the other side, and I get ahead of the pain. Okay? And everything is good, and I continue to look out and I stay ahead of it. But if I don't, and I end up getting in pain, the body has to compensate. And it's interesting in this prayer of Jabez, he talks about that I might not cause pain for others, which is a really interesting concept, is that when I don't do what I should be doing, okay, when I don't look ahead, I don't see what's coming, I actually cause pain for others. The whole body has to compensate around me. Other people in your life have to compensate. Let's say in my business, I didn't look ahead and see what was coming, and I don't have the finances now anymore. My cash flow is tight. I might have to lay people off, okay? And other people are affected because I didn't look out and take action and do the things that were needed. Okay, in your relationship, you don't take the action of connecting on a regular basis. Now, relationships are a two-way street, but you don't take the action to connect on a regular basis. Well, you're causing pain for that other person. I guarantee that you're causing pain because they want to connect with you. Maybe they're trying to reach out, but you're not making an effort to connect on your side. I guarantee you're causing pain for that person. In your health, you start to get in a lot of pain. I guarantee you what's going to happen. When you have a lot of pain in your body, it forces you to focus more internally. Okay, it's just a natural byproduct. The natural tendency is to focus more internally on yourself, and maybe you can't do as much now because of pain. Maybe you're limited because of an injury. Maybe you're limited because of pain in your body or a sickness or whatever it may be, and I'm limited, and now I have to have other people compensate and go out of their way to help me do things that I normally would be doing, okay? And now I didn't get ahead of that pain, and I'm causing discomfort and pain in other people's lives as well. So unfortunately, This has much further reaching effects than just on our own life. When I don't get ahead of the pain, I actually cause pain for other people in their lives too, because they have to compensate and they have to help. Maybe I didn't look ahead to the financial area and there's a big bill that's coming and I have to pay the bill late. Okay, well now the person that I'm paying the bill to, maybe they were counting on the money, maybe they didn't get ahead of the pain, and now they're stressed financially. All the pressure's on me and I have pain, financial pain, and then they didn't get ahead of it either. Now it has cascading effects across the board. Whereas let's say I'm late on my bill over here, but this guy has been prepared. He's been looking ahead to see what was coming. He's got prepared for it. Okay? And he says, well, I'm okay here. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a little bit of grace on your side to take a little bit of the pressure off of you. Now, he's still having to compensate. You're causing him a little bit of pain, probably. But he's going to say, I'm going to give you a little bit of grace. I'm going to help you out and help you to get this paid off in a timely manner, whatever that you're able to do. That takes a lot of the pain away from this person over here. So by you being a person that looks ahead, not only can you not cause pain for people, you can actually take away pain from people by you looking ahead. Because when I'm in pain, I close down and my presence starts to focus internally. I'm focused on myself because I'm in pain. I'm going through a situation. I'm going through a financial situation or a relationship situation or a health situation. I have pain in my body. My body doesn't feel good. I focus internally. That's a natural tendency for us to do because we're going through something. Okay? And when I do that, now I'm not externally focused, and I'm not looking for ways that I can help. I'm not looking for ways that I can be a blessing typically because I'm internally focused. And so I'm going to be causing more pain for others because I'm more internally focused as well. And so I got to look ahead. This is a very simple principle, harder to execute in everyday life. I've got to have this ability to look ahead, to see what's coming, and to take action. Okay? The Bible says a prudent man looks ahead, sees what's coming, and takes action accordingly. Okay, and we have to learn to do that. So in each area of your life, so the challenge for you today is, if there's an area of your life where you look out and you see something's coming, it could be your work, it could be your business, it could be your finances, it could be your family, it could be your health, it could be any area of your life. You look ahead and you see that it's coming. Let's start to take action. Let's start to get ahead of the pain as quickly as we can so that we can become a greater and greater blessing to others.